Thank you guys for tuning into this video. This video is part of a series on American health and diets. This video is an overview of how meat affects our health. I will be providing all of my resources down below for research or for reference. If you do need medical advice though, please ask your doctor or physician. So the science behind meat in our health can seem heavily convoluted. This is for two main reasons. One, the science is always evolving, and two, private companies like Exponent put incredible funding into misinformation. I'll talk a little bit more about them below. As such, I'm relying on information that is repeated across several sources and that has resulted from well-documented and well-controlled experiments. The basics of my finding are this. Red meat leads to inflation, cancers, and a plethora of chronic diseases. So let's break that down. I find it easiest to start with the arteries. Through these, blood flows to our heart, lungs, limbs, and other important parts of our body. The blockage of these arteries can cause serious and at times fatal problems like heart disease, stroke, and brain damage, among other things. Dr. Kim Williams with the American College of Cardiology explains that these blocked arteries lead up to a 55% increased risk of heart attack, increased risk of heart disease, male fertility, increased risk of malignant cancers, and a weakened immune system. This blockage is caused primarily by a specific heme iron present only in animal meat. Heme from plants, however, has no negative or reverse effects on our body. He explains the role of heme iron in clogging our pores, revealing that 1 milligram a day leads to a 27% increased risk of coronary heart disease. To put that into perspective, a regular hamburger consists of 3 times that amount. That isn't even going into all of the other nasty stuff you consume when you eat red meat. Along with heme and the coveted protein, you're taking in sugars and trans fats, which both further contribute to chronic diseases. Inflammation is also a problem when it comes to chronic disease. A study by Vanderbilt University explains what inflammation actually means. Our bodies use inflammation typically to defend against invasive germs and sickness. But an excess in inflammation leads to arthritis, asthma, blindness, cancers, diabetes, and in extreme cases, autism and mental illness. Dr. Stoll, a former Olympian and team physician for the USA Olympic team, explains that animal protein alters the bacteria in our digestive systems, leading to a 70% increased risk of inflammation. And once again, he's not the only health expert warning the public against red meat. Take Robert Vogel, a co-chair of the NFL subcommittee on cardiovascular health. He conducted an experiment on the cardiovascular effects of meat. He took blood samples of 3 players as a control sample. He had each of them eat a different burrito with either red meat, beans, or chicken as a protein source. He then examined the plasma in each sample, finding that the bean burrito resulted in cleaner plasma, which translates into cleaner arteries. Those with beef and chicken had foggy plasma and thus clogged pores. The experiment showed that eating meat leads directly to clogged arteries. And this is just in the span of 2 hours. This doesn't account for what a week or a month or a lifetime of consumption could look like. Now, granted, this experiment was only with 3 people, but his findings were backed by hundreds of researchers and articles. Take Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn. He did his own study, creating a heart disease reversal program based on the idea that cutting out meat would result in lower risk of heart disease, because a new diet would clear up the participants' arteries. He recognized that heart disease was the most common cause of death in the Western world, where our diets are heavily dependent on meat. He figured that we could reverse heart disease by reversing our diet. And he was right. His program worked. If you need more proof, check out ex-firefighter Rip Esselstyn. He found that 67% of firefighters die of heart attacks in the line of duty. To try and fight this, he created a 7-day rescue diet that consisted only of plant-based foods. The result was severely lowered cholesterol, blood pressure, and cleaner arteries. The story can be found in more detail on Game Changers. It's an incredible story, as many of these firefighters had been faced with the reality of an early death or chronic disease. This 7-day program changed the way they saw health, and it's just one of hundreds of case studies that show not only the severe health detriments of meat, but also the incredible benefits of cutting out meat and maintaining a healthier diet. I would also like to point to a few really solid sources if you want to look more into this issue. The first is Game Changers, which I have already mentioned. It is available on Netflix and follows an injured extreme athlete as he tries to find a faster way to recover. The film ends up going in depth into how meat and dairy affect our health, the benefits of cutting out meat, and provides plenty of examples of successful vegan athletes. Among them are Dotsie Bausch, an 8-time national cycling champion, as well as Kendrick Ferris, a heavyweight champion with 2 Olympic records, as well as Nate Diaz and about a quarter of the Titans' NFL team. There's also a book called Eat, Drink, and Be Healthy by Dr. Willet, who's a Harvard professor, whom I've spoken about in previous videos. Again, I am not a doctor, so if you're looking for professional medical advice, I suggest you look to your doctor or to your physician. These videos are a fantastic springboard for further research, and I 100% suggest that you check out any of the many resources below. My next segment covers the relationship between our diets, meat, and the environment. Thank you guys so much for watching.